Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto Channel. Wishing you a happy healthy start to this Saturday morning. Another pumbola going on right now. The bull Zuka has arrived, and Bitcoin nearly hitting almost 28,000 bucks, smashing some of the major targets that we've been having over this past couple weeks stretch here. Anyways, I do want to address the very high term time frame situation, but I think that would be best done tomorrow. Today's going to be focused more on the sort of short and medium term, the more near term, if you will. Other than that, I want to once again let you know that we do have a nice promotion going on where you can get the Jewel Light for free for a month if you follow the link in the description below. You can also see on the Krown Chain application over here. And what else? Oh, and you also get 0% maker fees on derivative contract orders on Bybit. Anyways, yes. So now that we've gotten through that, now that we have gone through also that, I can go back to my normal view and let's go over the overall picture. So the overall picture, it's like it can be more redundant. Anyway, starting off right over here, I wanted to once again reference the daily Jewel signal because there is something to be aware of in like the next couple days here. What essentially is it? Well, first things first, what essentially is a signal? Well, or the setup. The setup is this. Anytime that we've seen the daily Jewel oscillator come down below the extreme critical zone, which is the 20 read right here, I'll just mark this off with a green horizontal. There we go. We have observed a high probability of a very sizable bounce over the full history of Bitcoin. So this has been backtested throughout the whole damn history, the whole damn thing, going all the way back to the Genesis here. And you can see, 13 prior times where it's actually gotten down into that region. And out of 13 times, 11 have played out with a nice big bounce. In this case, this is obviously going to go up because we've already seen a pretty nice, a pretty nice move to the upside. So it'll be 12 out of 14 actually by the end of this this particular setup. But what is of interest right now is two things. It's twofold. First and foremost is the average return and what we kind of expect the generalized results to fall between. Now, in this case, the average return from setup given was 15.25%, with a standard deviation showing the top side of about 23.5%. That means that we expect 68% of the overall results to fall basically between the range of 7% all the way up to 23.5%. Obviously, Bitcoin has already, if we zoom in, or is about 23% up from that setup given over here. Yeah. A little bit more than 20%, but basically, 23, 24% basically. So the question is, are we going to get an outlier situation? Would this be the type of setup to produce an overall outlier situation? Probably yes. But the reason for that is because on average, we do expect this setup to take about 21 days with a standard deviation of 7 days. So giving us a range between 14 to 28 days. And as of right now, we've seen how many days transpire. We are on day number 6, not even a fucking week in there. So there has been one iteration in the past where it was a single digit. It was over here. This was like 3-4 years ago when Bitcoin was trading and breaking out of the $4,000 range upwards, obviously. And I should denote that one actually did continue on for significantly more gains, but I just thought that it was more reasonable to kind of put it within this fashion here because there was a local high around that region. Anyways, the highest that we've ever seen this first move go. So that is not to say that things can't continue onwards and downwards down the line. That can happen, but in the more near immediate term, the most that we've really seen was about a 38% move to the upside. That was the highest one, and then a consolidation, and then in that case, it was actually continuation as well. Now, not all of them are continuation, but for this first sort of bull splurt, if you will, well, well, I do think that we're starting to get towards some very, very interesting areas here for the short and medium term. Does Bitcoin maybe have one more try to the upside? Maybe yes, but I do want to put things in perspective here because, one, it's starting to be a bit more of an outlier. And then two, if we go over to this particular chart, this is a chart of CME. You can see that Bitcoin on the weekly closed well within the bottom side of the Gaussian channel. So that condition is now fulfilled, and it would be wise to be looking somewhere around the mean band right here, just like we were looking at on the 5-day time frame. Now just marching up to another, a different time frame, a bit of a higher term time frame in relationship to the 5-day, obviously. that being the weekly. And on CME, that is currently at about 28,500 or so. That's also where the last major CME gapola is, coming in from June breakdown, where Bitcoin went all the way from about 30,000 bucks to, those 19,000 to $20,000 lows, where it stayed for quite some time. So, this would be a great place, theoretically speaking, for a pullback. On spot price action, which closes tomorrow night at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we can see that the mean band on the Gaussian channel is coming in where? Basically the same area, 28,400 or so. So that is to say that, assuming that Bitcoin does not close above that tomorrow, again, 28,500, let's say, I think it'd just be better to kind of put it right there. I would be looking for maybe another try higher into early next week, but ultimately after that, probably a bit of a pullback and a consolidation sideways, and then set up for the next major move. Now, the next major move we'll be speaking about tomorrow, as there is actually something major to update around there, but I want to make this video a little bit more on the digestible and easier to consume side, because I know many people aren't watching on Saturdays anyways. So it's all good, man. It's all good. It's just you and me, TA nerds, right here. But yes, we've been watching this rally over the past few weeks now, and it's hit the strong majority of our more reasonable targets, I would say, based off of these particular setups, and that's also including the daily stochastic setup. But I think that was like more or less fulfilled, a couple days ago, so no longer as relevant as the Joule setup. On top of that, we can also reference the HPGR indicator over here and come up with a bit of a range, within the next few days, maybe not the next few days, but like the next week or so. Basically, as long as Bitcoin is above, especially 26,000 bucks, it probably does get another try to the upside. The question is, where does the next higher low come in around? Well, the bottom side of the 80% of historic returns range highs, which let me just kind of get rid of all this. Boom, there we go. Zoom out a little bit. I'm talking about this area right here. As long as Bitcoin's above that, pressure does remain to the upside, and probably one more wick to the upside. Let's say we can see the top side of the 80% of historic returns range highs is now like very close to 30,000 bucks. It's actually at 29,500. I do think that that's maybe possible in maybe like the coming weeks, but in the short term, does it make more sense for Bitcoin to play it a bit of sideways here and let things cool off for a second? Probably yes. Dependent upon where the weekly closes, assuming that it doesn't close above 28,500. If it doesn't, maybe one more wick to the upside, but ultimately probably comes back down and consolidates here sideways for a bit, preparing for the next like major move, if you will. Anyways, going back into this particular one, we can see that, if Bitcoin were to start to close back down below this region, let's call it 26,000 bucks. I know that it's 26,500 right now, but I would give it a wide berth, so to speak. Then, again, all pullbacks probably lead towards continuation. Below there, however, that's where, I don't think it's very likely, to be honest, but that's where you have a bit of a trap situation, with very likely a move after that point back down to the mid 24s, and then I want to come back to it and reassess after that. But ultimately, most things point towards more continuation in the coming weeks, with kind of like a short-term stop, maybe in like in the coming, like this most recent week that we're about to experience. But yeah, an 8-minute long video right now. I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to get off right here. Maybe we could just go see what the 4-hour time frame is doing. I didn't actually prepare anything for the 4-hour time frame, or I haven't even checked, I should say. It's not that I prepare shit, I'm just reading the stats. But yeah, 4-hour range lows at about 26,700. So, if Bitcoin were to close below there, at that point, I'd probably be looking for a move back down somewhere around 26 even, or a little bit below 26. As long as Bitcoin's above there, I mean, probably gets one more try to the upside, with the top side of the range actually at 28,300. So do we get a weekend pushed around that region, around the mean band of the Gaussian channel, and then perhaps come down for the consolidation? I think that's a little more likely actually right now. But this is all preparation for what we're going to be speaking about tomorrow. Very high term time frame ideas coming into fruition here that are going to very likely influence the next month and a half to maybe 2 months of price action. And we're probably going to be getting clarity on that situation, I think, within the next few days, honestly. This is moving pretty fucking fast right now. But, to put it in one soundbite, as long as Bitcoin's above, especially 26 on a daily, probability still favor the upside. As long as Bitcoin's even on a 4-hour time frame closure above 26,650. Yeah, 26,650, let's say. I would be looking at that as a bit of a pivot for the, the medium term to maybe test the downside of that daily range. But for right now, yeah, that's basically my thoughts. And I think that's a good place for me to be leaving this particular one off. What else? I feel like I missed some here. What the fuck am I missing, man? I missed some sleep. That's what I fucking missed. Jesus Christ, man. I feel awful right now. If you can't tell, my speeches, my voices are not working properly. My voice is also not communicating ideas properly as well. But yeah, we'll just leave it right there. We'll come back tomorrow. That's going to be a very, very important one. We'll talk about some very high-term time frame stuff. I'm once going to remind myself to talk about the promotion for the Jewel Light. You can get it, again, for free for the first 30 days, following the link in the description below. Other than that, wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.